Hello fellow Double Fruit users, Logan Master 666 here, and I will be of course discussing Magi Chapter 2. And while I didn't like it as much as the pilot chapter, the debut, the one-shot, whatever you want to call it, I still did enjoy it. Now the name of this chapter is, his name is Alibaba, and this is a character that I didn't know anything about, but of course I did know the name of and could deduce that he would be one of the main characters. And I gotta say, his character is actually not bad. So basically, Aladdin travels on this caravan, and on it is being driven by, of course, Alibaba, and there are a few other people on board, including a mother and her daughter, and a fat fuck who is eating apples and drinking apparently expensive red wine. He's an asshole. So basically, Aladdin makes the mistake of jumping his face up into his man boobs, as fat as he is, and says, "You're a guy, how do you have tits?" Holy fuck. That's fucking funny. I'm sorry. That's fucking hilarious, actually. So he's flipping shit, and Alibaba basically apologizes to his master, or the one who's hiring him, essentially. Now, basically, we get to learn more about Alibaba, of course. He introduces what he's about. And he ends up saying something along the lines of, and I may be confused about this, he says something like, 14 years ago, these buildings emerged. Now, my first instinct told me, okay, these taller than normal buildings were just built. Maybe not. Maybe they literally just came out of nowhere. And the reason why I think that is because they just so happen to have had abandoned treasures in them. Like they were spawned for some unknown reason. I don't really quite understand, but basically the gist is he wants to go into these dangerous dungeons. Dungeons are always dangerous. Come on. And hunt for treasure, essentially. Get these riches. And he wants those because he wants money. Because basically with money you can do and have whatever you want. You can be in the position that he wants to be in, which is not the position he's in right now, of course, since he's the driver. So basically that's his goal. We still don't have quite an idea of what Aladdin's goal is. All we know is that he wants to be friends with Ugo-kun, and he's already done that, so I don't know exactly what his overall shonen protagonist goal is, and of course, I'm sure we'll get more on that later. So basically, the fat asshole who goes by the name of, I believe it was, Budel. I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget, and I ended up forgetting anyway. And basically, he unfortunately has to be an asshole and says, "You need to give up on these dreams, Alibaba, because you're just a mouse and you're going to die a mouse. There's no point picking through garbage to find, something expensive or treasure-like." And Alibaba basically sucks it up and says, "Yeah, you're right." But you can tell that he's angry. He's gripping whatever the hell he's gripping. I guess it's like a steer thing because they have if I recall, horses. And then you see this little tentacle, and it's weird because the manga panel, they have this weird fucking circle around it, kind of like whenever you're watching those UFO TV shows, and then like they have a circle over the UFO and it's lighter or whatever to help you see. It's like we could clearly see the tentacle. We didn't need any visual help, so I don't know what the deal with that is. So it ends up being this tentacle thing, this creature. It's kind of like a Venus flytrap of sorts. And I wrote it down. It's called a desert hyacinth. Hyacinth. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that. And hyacinth. There you go. And what was I saying? Yeah. So this little girl, the one who was on, of course, the caravan, she basically falls in. I guess I wouldn't even be near that. I guess she couldn't help it, but as soon as I saw that thing, I would have just booked it. But of course, she has to play the damsel in distress and be the kid who gets saved. And basically, she's falling along with a barrel of the wine from Fat Fuck. I'm just going to call him Fat Fuck from here on out. And they're both reaching out towards her. And it's like, okay, Alibaba's clearly reaching towards the girl, and Fat Fuck is having a change of heart and reaching for her as well. No, Alibaba misses the girl, and she falls in, and it was obvious that Fat Fuck was going for the pitcher or the barrel of red wine because that's what he grabs and says, "Okay, let's go." Oh, don't worry about her. And he says to the crying mother, "Oh, don't worry about your kid. If you're that worried about them, then you can make a million with me." And at that point, Alibaba just punches the shit out of him, and his face was like, it kind of reminded me of that Whitebeard, Akainu situation where he, and his body just went like, damn near bended. That's what it looked like, but a horizontal version. And it's fucking cool. But basically, after that, like I said, the girl falls in, and Alibaba follows down into the pit. The guy has no powers, obviously, so it doesn't work well for him. He throws a pitcher in of red wine in order to basically get it drunk. The girl escapes, he doesn't, and then, of course, Aladdin decides to use his magic turban no jutsu and fly over with all of the wine. Fat Fuck is begging him not to do it, and he drops it in. The thing gets shit-faced, more shit-faced than an Irishman on St. Patrick's Day, and lets him go. So, and it was cool, because when Aladdin did that, he looked badass. Because of course he ripped his turban off, and his hair was flowing like Ichigo Mugetsu form or some shit. And yeah, he drops the wine in. Alibaba goes free, and he says, Alibaba, of course, that he doesn't need all this money, these riches. He doesn't need compensation for anything because he felt knocking the fuck out of Fat Fuck was well worth it. So that pretty much ends the chapter. Of course, just before then, um, basically, and I found this very interesting that I forgot to mention. This is the first time that Aladdin has actually done something without relying on Ugo-kun. I noticed that. He's not just powerless without Ugo-kun, because he tried to use him, but it wouldn't work because there was sand in the flute. That's a critical weakness, by the way, as I'm noticing. So it wasn't until after the battle that he was able to get the sand out. So it was impressive he was able to just use his turban and do that. Granted, I don't exactly see what dropping wine on a normal enemy is going to accomplish. It's probably just a mobility only thing, but hey, this is chapter 2. I'm not going to sit here and harp on his lack of abilities or anything stupid like that. So basically, after that, Ugo-kun comes out, the arms, of course, and everyone shits bricks, and the chapter ends. That's all for the review. It was a decent chapter. Not as good as the last one, but it was good. It had some comedic effect. Of course, the tits moment, the man tits, that was fucking hilarious. And it was so unexpected. It was so unexpected. One particular moment that I liked, I forgot to mention, was basically when Alibaba was stating that if you have enough money, you can get women of any kind. And Aladdin was drooling practically. And Alibaba basically says um, something about kissing a girl or something along the lines of that. And Aladdin is asking how exactly that's done or what it's like because he's never done so. And Alibaba makes it very clear he hasn't as well. And he's all like, well, you go up to them and you slide it in and you put it in, and then and then Aladdin's like, put it in where? And I was like, oh my god, just replace kissing with fucking and you've pretty much got a fan fiction hentai on the way. So that's the end of the chapter review. Like I said, decent chapter, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Comments down below, thumbs up, likes, subscriptions, and I'll have chapter 3 and 4 out either tomorrow or the day after. And ciao.